to read something that I wrote as an answer to somebody who they're talking about this English only ridiculous policies. This is nothing new. This is nothing. This is rehashed white supremacy and racism. And so, and the funny part is that when we talk about racism and how it affects us and how racist these policies are, all of a sudden, which is nothing. This technique is not new either. It's very old. What was his name? Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi minister of propaganda. He had, he said it best. He said, accuse the other side of that of which you are guilty. So that's what they're doing. Racist people, white supremacists that want to impose their English only policies are accusing us, the people who are against those racist policies, of being racist. Go figure. Just like they accused Martin Luther King of being racist when he tried to fight for the rights of the descendants of Africans. So this my answer says. The only racist diatribe that I hear is from people like you who required a language test to live in a nation that was founded on genocide, slavery, rape, and land theft. Furthermore, using your racist reasoning, we would have to deport the vast majority of people who are here with European ancestry, since ancestors did not speak the native tongue of the American continent when they decided to invade this land. Not only that, if we are to consider the people who do not speak English as non-qualified to live in the United States, you would not live here, and we would have to deport you back to wherever it is that you and your parents came from, along with every Italian, Spanish, Polish, German, Norwegian, Swedish, Swiss, Russian, Slovenian, Yugoslav, Serbian, Chinese, Japanese, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Mexican, Arab, Jewish, Romanian, Korean, Vietnamese, etc., that came to the United States without speaking English and never learned it. Saying that only those who speak English have the right to live in the United States is a profoundly racist statement and a spit on the face of the millions of immigrants who did not speak English when they came to the U.S. and never learned, because the ability to learn a new language decreases exponentially after early childhood, parenthesis, not that any of the proudly ignorant proponents of the racist English only care about scientific data. Furthermore, if you are so hell-bent on force-feeding the litmus English-only test on all other ethnicities that don't speak English, then you should return all the tax money collected from non-English speaking people to them. And while you're at it, pay the non-English speaking families for the children that they sacrificed in every war that the U.S. sent them to, and build your own railroads, because they were built by non-English speaking Chinese people, and pay reparations to the millions of descendants of enslaved Africans who for 400 years were forced to build this nation for free without being required to speak English when they were kidnapped from Africa, and were tortured with corporal punishment if they spoke their native tongue or practiced their religion, and were forced to practice Christianity under the threat of torture. And changed the name of Florida to Flowery, and Colorado to Red, and Montana to Mountain, and Arizona to Arid Zone, and Nevada to Snowy, because everything has to be English now, just so that right wingers can feel superior in their little bubble of ignorance and bigotry. As far as functioning using a Native American tongue, we non-racists are doing just fine integrating Native American language into the ever-evolving lexicon of the English language. Hammock comes from my Arawak Taino ancestors' word hamaca. Manatee is an aberration of the Arawak Taino word manatee, as is hurricane. Huracan was the god of the wrath of the wind in my ancestors' religion. Canoe is an aberration of canoa. Barbecue is an aberration of barbacoa, a Taino word, etc. And while we are at it, let's not use any French derivative in the English language, since, well, like you propose, it's English only in the United States. And we should change the name of pizza to cheese pie, since pizza is an Italian word, and not use the word pants, since it comes from the Arab word pantalon. You see, the English-only argument is one rooted in racism and oppression, and it should be relinquished to the pages of the human history book dedicated to explaining the atrocities committed by English-speaking European Christians in their quest to enslave the rest of the world and steal it. As far as forgetting the past and moving on, I am certain the descendants of the victims of the Nazis, Khmer Rouge, Stalin, Mussolini, Mao, Dark Middle Ages European Christians, and others who attack cultural diversity, just like you are doing by shunning official language diversity in a country of immigrants, are firmly opposed to such an egregious concept. They know firsthand how fast the shunning of their ancestors' cultures turned into a full-scale genocide. We must never allow this story to repeat itself.